On January 12th, 1995, 19-year-old Colleen Slimmer followed a group of so-called friends into the woods thinking it was a peace offering for marijuana from a so-called dispute between two girls over a guy. She had no idea she was walking into her death, and the girl who lured her was just 18 years old. What happened next in those woods is one of the most disturbing murders ever committed by a teen. Christina Gail Pike. She was born March the 10th, 1976 in Beckley, West Virginia. Her childhood marked reportedly with trouble from the start, neglect, instability, and stories of early trauma. Her mother, Carissa Henson, and her father, Emil Pike, had a troubling relationship and divorced after just 2 years. After Henson was found cheating, they did remarry about another 2 years later. After Henson, which is Christina Gail Pike's mother, had tried to commit suicide, they got back together. And Christina had an older half-sister that lived with them. And an aunt noted that both of them were neglected during their lives. The aunt reported there were times of piles of dog feces in the house, and that Christina would be crawling around in those dog feces. Their lifestyle was just not good for a toddler. And then Christina began experiencing seizures at that same time. It said that Christina's grandmother helped raise her from time to time, and that Christina felt she was the only one that ever really loved her whole life. Christina attempted an overdose in 3rd grade with Tylenol. That's when she began psychiatric care, and she had that 2 different times. At age 12, her grandmother passed away in 1988, and at that time, Pike again attempted suicide, and she also received very little support after that, is what it was said. Christina's teenage years were no better. She was both the receiver of being a perpetrator and of violence. One of her mother's boyfriends punched her in the face because she chased him with a knife. Then she started staying with her father, and she had younger half-sisters, and it was reported that her half-sister claimed that she had been molested by Christina, and her father kicked her out at that time. Christina had claims of being molested herself several times throughout the years, but her family claimed she was a manipulator and a pathological liar, so those claims were untrue. Christina also had a very unstable life and had to move schools a lot, so she wasn't able to make friends well. It did affect, of course, her performance at school. By 10th grade, Christina was sent to a juvenile detention center, and that's where she became interested in Job Corps. So in case you didn't know what Job Corps is, it is a government funding program aimed at helping teens learn vocational skills and training and get a career. So it was reported that Christina did get her GED there, and she was studying to be a nursing assistant. She was at the Knoxville, Tennessee Job Corps area in 1994. That facility is no longer open now. She then met a boy that was her junior, and his name was Tendril Ship. Together, they developed an interest in occult and devil worship. So during this time of them dating, Colleen became jealous of another Job Corps classmate, 19-year-old Colleen Slimmer, who she believed that Colleen was trying to steal her boyfriend. Others reported that there was no proof of that. Friends of Slimmer denied the accusations that there was no attempt of Colleen trying to steal Christina's boyfriend. So then that's when Christina came up with a plan to lure Colleen into the woods at the University of Tennessee campus. February 12th, 1995, Pike, Shipp, Peterson, and Slimmer signed out of their dorm and proceeded to the woods. And that's where they had lured her, promising like they were just trying to make friends and promises of marijuana. So they left the facility. And when they arrived at the secluded location in the woods, Slimmer was attacked by Pike and Shipp, while Peterson, the other girl involved in it, was the lookout. For 30 minutes, Slimmer was tortured, beaten, and slashed. A pentagram was carved in her chest. Finally, after all the torture, 30 minutes of torture, Pike smashed Slimmer's skull with a large chunk of asphalt, killing her. And then to make things even worse, Pike actually took a piece of Slimmer's skull and put it in her pocket to keep. Pike began to show off that piece of skull at school. And that's where, within 36 hours, the three involved with Slimmer's death was arrested. School law books showed that the four of them had checked out together, but only three arrived back at the campus. So Pike did confess to killing her, but she said she only intended to scare her, but that things just got out of hand. Pike, Shipp, and Peterson were all charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Shipp turned 17 2 months before the murder, and so she was tried as an adult. Peterson, who agreed to become a witness for the prosecution, received probation after pleading guilty to being accessory to the fact. Prosecution sought death sentence for Pike and life without parole for Shipp. On March 22nd, 1996, after only a few hours of deliberation, Pike was found guilty on first-degree murder, conspiracy, and to commit murder. She was sentenced to death by electrocution and 25 years for conspiracy. Guilty of both counts. However, after the jury could not come to agreement whether he deserved to spend the rest of his life, natural life, in prison, the judge sentenced him to life in prison with parole eligibility. The judge imposed a consecutive 25 years for his conspiracy conviction, ensuring that he would not be eligible parole into his late 40s or early 50s. He will become eligible for parole. Actually, he became eligible parole January 2026. So he is now eligible. Haven't heard anything update on that, and whether he has tried to appeal for that. Appeals have been made over the years. Christina even asked for an execution date on August 19, 2022. She then changed her mind July 8th of 2000. She wanted the execution date for August 19, 2002, but then changed her mind July 8th, 2002. An appeal was entered on May of 2014, stating Christina suffered from mental illness and that capital punishment was unconstitutional. The judge rejected that appeal. Christina Pike then attempted murder in 2001 of one of her fellow inmates. She attempted to choke the inmate to death with a shoestring. She received another 25-year sentence for attempted murder for that as well. In March 2012, Pike was planning on it. She involved 2 correctional officers to help her try to plan her escape from prison. It was not said how it all initially got started, but evidently Pike was involved with one of the guys. He was a personal trainer. Somehow she was letter writing back and forth, and then he got involved with another correctional officer to try to get her out. So by 2011, he was making like a 1,700-mile trip to try to come see her once a month, or twice a month. It was twice a month. The plan, they come up with this plan and involved a correctional officer who agreed in return for cash and gifts. The plans of the escape was not fully revealed and due to security reasons, but the scenario was told to where a prison key would be duplicated, and the prison personnel received info in early 2012 about the escape, and the plan was uncovered and then stopped before it could happen. So where it stands on September 30th, 2025, the Tennessee Supreme Court issued and scheduled execution for Christina Pike. She is scheduled to be executed September 30th of this year, of 2026. If her execution goes through, she will be the first woman ever executed in Tennessee in roughly, well, not ever, but if the execution goes through, she will be the first woman executed in Tennessee in roughly 200 years. The sad thing about all this to this day is her skull that Christina carried around in her pocket. The authorities found it in her pocket when she was arrested. It is part of evidence, and since it's still an ongoing trial, her mother has asked it. Slimmer's mother has asked for that skull. She would like to, I guess, put it to rest with her body. It has not been released because of it being part of the court files. So she is yet to completely get peace about her daughter being murdered.